Hey, Proven Not Perfect community. So I have to tell you guys, there's a rhythm and a flow to how I tape podcast and how I post podcast. And I believe in order, perfect order. And so if you know me, I have it all lined up and the conversations will flow and they will flow as they are ordered to do. Well, today I did a taping and it was one of those experiences where it became incredibly clear to me that this time, Shontra's order is not the order. It's actually going to be reordered because I'm going to be obedient and release this discussion today. This discussion is for those Psalm 31 women. This discussion is for those women who are working really hard to start this year in a headspace where you feel clear thinking, where you feel grounded, and where you feel ready. This conversation will inspire you. This conversation may get you thinking about a couple things. This conversation may even get you emotional. I hope that you enjoy this conversation between me and my treasured friend, Erickajoy Daniels, uniquely brilliant. Hello, Erickajoy Daniels.
Hello, Miss Shontra Powell.
I'm gonna call you EJ from now on because that's how we
Okay.
get down. All right.
That's right. Right.
So for those of you that are tuning in visually, looking at us audibly, I want to introduce you to, there are three types of friends. I'm just gonna say there's friend, there is dear friend, and there's treasured friend. And I truly believe there are three categories in my life, right? And this right here, y'all, I'm introducing you to a treasured friend. Why do I call her a treasured friend? I call her a treasured friend. For me, the level of treasure is exactly what the name connotes. It's someone who literally brings so much brilliance and joy and extraness to your box, your life, all the things, right? And that is Erickajoy. You don't have to see your treasures every day. You know that, right? You can put those treasures, you can lock them up in your lockbox. You know they're there. They're special, they're beautiful, they sparkle. And on that day when you need to see your treasure, you open it up, you look at it, you love it, right? But it's there all the time, right? And that's why I say treasured. She's my treasured friend. So who is she? Erickajoy Daniels is an SVP, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer with some muckety-muck healthcare firm. This is not about them. This is about her. Hello, no bondage. She is a mom. She is a wife. She is a community worker. She is a Christian. She is a pastor. She is a minister. She is all so many things, so many layers. And today I want to spend some time visiting with her and sharing this with you. Erickajoy, welcome.
Thank you. Oh, that's a setup that just warmed my heart.
Yay! That's so good. It's so good. Well, it's so good to have you. So good to see you. I want to just jump right in because I know that you are busy. And the thesis that I shared with you that was really on my mind, I'm going to go ahead and read it for everybody else. We are in peculiar times where many women who have found joy and purpose leading outside of the home alongside their duties in the home are reimagining. They're setting new blueprints for their lives. All in the backdrop of the call for diversity being never more great, never more loud, never more clear. It's a straight up conundrum. It really is. I want to talk about this with you. I want to talk about what role faith plays. I want to talk about what role intention setting and planning plays. I want to just talk about that. So let's start there. So even just from all that I put out there, you know, what's on your mind? What are you thinking? Because you have to know people like me who are struggling with this notion of doing it all right now.
You know, one thing, I think I'm actually going to go back to something you said when how you highlighted my heart by highlighting how you identified our relationship as treasure.
Yeah.
That when I thought about going into the new year, right? We all set New Year's resolutions or commitments or refreshments, whatever we call them, right? Mm-hmm. And we think as if we're going to turn the calendar and things are going to be wonderfully, amazingly new. Mm. For me, at the close of last year, I was just reassessing what was important to me. What were my priorities? Where was my time and my talent and my treasure going? And should it be reevaluated? Mm-hmm. Into this year, I said, well, Lord, I need to open up my treasure box and get a few of the brilliant minds that I know will hold me accountable, that will challenge me, and to make me consider things that I may not have at the forefront of my mind.
Wow.
And when I think about what all those roles are, I needed to be also offer myself up in a very transparent and vulnerable place that allowed those treasures to see all of me and to assess all of me and to rightfully challenge all of me. Mm. I am in this January. And I think in years past, I was so pressed of, by a certain date, I'm going to get going, because if I don't have it ready by the first week of January, and my game plan is not set, then I'm coming up short.
Yes.
And really, I have to free myself. Talk about bond. I free myself from self-imposed deadlines and constraints.
Yes.
Giving myself the space to say, let me honor and acknowledge who God made me to be. Mm. And I still do all those things. I can be the mom, I can co-pastor, I can be a mentor, I can be a sister friend, I can be an author, I can do these things, but let me make sure that I'm not constraining myself to my own expectations.
Yes.
And really allow myself to be challenged. So that's kind of where I am and how I think about, even that's that first question is we, dive in like we do, Shontra. We dive in we don't have to wait for the pleasantries. Let's get into the heart of understanding each other so we can help each other best.
Yeah. You know what you said something about allowing it to unfold and pulling those treasures out and having them hold you accountable. So comparing that to years prior, when you would have started the clock and would have had the plan and would have been assessing to the plan, what things are happening differently for you? So do you just not have the plan now? Or is there a plan, but you're okay if it iterates daily? Tell us a little bit more about that, because I'm still seeing a lot of people flowing with, it's vision board time and it's write your goals time. And sort of like you, I don't feel drawn to giving honor to this 1 month in the same way that I have before.
Yeah. I think I had to be open that I didn't have to start as if I had nothing that I'm building upon, right? Because sometimes we can start the vision as if we didn't have a vision that we were still trying to pull off. Yeah. So I was looking at what was my undone work? What did I start that I didn't finish?
What was my undone work? Girl, I have to put a pin in it right there.
Yeah.
What was my undone work? Yep. Because it is so easy to get quickly into what that new list looks like that you forget there's a list.
Right.
Okay. I like that.
Right. My eagerness used to take me there. And I want to finish strong. I want to finish strong, especially those things that I know God has tasked me with.
Oh.
There's some things that I want to finish that may be, maybe I don't quit, right? But there are things that God says, before you move on there, how about you tidy this one up first? Whether it's as tactical as, we're working on designing a brand new backyard, but I also want to work on the basement, and then I'm going to work on my office. How about you finish that undone work first? Because I think when I've moved I know when I have moved too quickly from the undone work, I have missed the lessons that I should have learned that would carry into the new fresh work.
Girl, you have said a word right there. When I move too quickly from the undone work, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Right, like that. I think that just hit me. Like incomplete work also could mean incomplete learning.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I don't want to move like that.
Erickajoy, it's so funny because, and this is not really funny, it's just kind of a statement of how you and I move together, how I think our spirits dance together on this earth. This morning, I was even thinking about, you know, when you start something and you feel really excited about it, but then you go through the ebb that almost slows you down. And then you find yourself, well, was I supposed to be excited about the thing or not excited about the thing? But I think where I land this morning in my own meditation and hearing what you just said, both can be true. Because I have a natural propensity to jump into it and to assume that every waking moment of the day, that is absolutely the most priority, the North Star.
Right.
But I think what happens is I start getting ahead of myself instead of letting the thing organically breathe, and it slows me back down.
Yeah. As soon as you said that, you know what came to mind? I thought about, I was watching a TV show around a woman who's from, I believe she was from Mexico, and she was trying to bring more diversity into surfing. And so I got drawn in from the story. She's a woman of color, trying to bring a passion into her community, right? We do that in so many ways. But I pictured her, and when you talked about the ebb and you talked about the pause, I thought about watching her on that show, and she was on the board, right, surfing. But when the surf was, when that wave finished, and I'm not a surfer, so I'm probably screw up all this and that.
That's okay, I get it.
But the water slowed down. She didn't stop being a surfer. She was in her place, but she was waiting for the right timing for the next right move.
Yes.
I feel like I feel like as if I'm not going to still be the leader, the mom, the community executive, the person, if my wave slowed down for a minute. My identity didn't change on the board.
Yeah.
I'm just pacing and keeping my eye on the proper time for the proper wave so I can be on top of it and not under it.
Girl!
That's our challenge. Because if we don't pay attention and we jump up too soon, and
we don't. Okay, now we're gonna really take it there. So let the church say amen, y'all. That's listening to this. Here we go. By us not allowing the wave to set itself up again, we are missing the opportunity for God to take us to our next best place, aren't we?
Sorry, I got it. You know, when we're together, God always does this. I got to capture that because I don't want to miss.
We're missing because the whole thing of the wave is that's not something that the surfer dictates. She just goes out there and she participates in this surf experience and she works with what she's provided, right?
Yes.
So when do we stop, pause, and start working with what we're provided? Understanding that even those moments when the waves are not coming and it's what we've been provided. And I'm going to take it to the next level and say, it's a piece that you've been provided. God drops it in. It's a great idea. It's a great vision. You're moving forward, but then he stops.
Right.
So that you can just soak it in.
Yep. For a necessary time. We would have planned for it because you don't go out in the water if you're not prepared.
You don't.
I didn't get that.
So our preparation, gift of peace, is all wrapped up in that pause that he set up for us.
Girl, if we could continue to live this in the way that I know that you and I choose to every day, there's nothing that can stop you, because those lies that jump in our head that say you're not doing enough, you're not going fast enough, you're not completing the thing, those lies, you would immediately say no, stop, because that ain't true.
And
I'm
recognize it.
I'm doing everything I need to do. And today that might just be taking a walk. Today that might just be sitting still longer.
Right.
Today.
Be okay with that.
And be okay with it, girl. Yes. All right. So let me ask you this. We're in 2022 January, and I'm actually gonna have to post this before I planned on it because it just has to be out there. Let me ask you, what's your word? What's your word for the year?
Committed.
Committed. Okay, so tell us about committed.
Yeah, so it sparked from home conversation, ministry conversation, and it's always hindsight, right? I didn't realize that some of the things that we were doing, that I was doing individually, that my husband was doing and our family was doing, was preparation for us to be committed. So sometimes you got to look back and you be like, God, you were getting me ready for this. And we usually come up with a theme for the church. And it's this beautiful phrase that has some meaning and draw and will intrigue and motivate people. So I asked my husband, he said, committed. I said, okay, yeah, 2. But I'm turning his theme to a SMART goal, right? And he was like, that's all I got. And then it hit me like, God asked me, are you committed? Ooh. I said, okay, right, Lord, to what and by whom and for what? He said, what I need you to seek me for. Ooh. I said, okay. You are challenging me to make sure that I understand what I'm committed to, how I'm going to demonstrate my commitment, and where it is. And that's tough for me, Shontra, because you know me, I love plans, I love details, I love packages, I love things buttoned up. But God left enough blank space that's keeping me where I'm seeking him. Last night we were talking about the life of an overcomer is dependent upon continually seeking. Like I have to ask, I have to be determined. And God will affirm those things, whether it's as simple, not even simple, but fitness, right? My health, having a treasured friend who now for a year has been, connecting with me and getting me on this. And by support and endorsement. When I get your text messages after I've done something good, I'm in my living room by myself finishing my hit, but I have a treasured friend in another time zone who has said, I see you, sis. Yeah. And it's me committed. And so I know long answer, but to me, it's like how one word has taken me farther. And so I would even say, I love how you said, what is your word? The word has the meaning, but I really want to make sure I understand it for myself and recognize that I don't have to have all the answers in the first 30 days of the year.
Yes. Even girl, okay, so I love too that your family went for one word, because I also felt moved for one word. Usually I'm 3 words. This year I'm 1 word. And my 1 word is trust. And I believe that my revelation is that for so many years, I would have said that my issue was control. My issue was being a control freak. I realized that my issue is trust.
You went below the surface.
I did.
Roots. That's real.
I had to be real with the fact that, things have happened to us in our life, in our journey, right? And you get to a place where you feel restricted about who you can trust, what you can trust. You become skeptical about things, all the things, right? And I have come to the conclusion that blocks my energy flow. Trust. Lack of trust. It blocks my flow from him to me. It blocks my flow from me to another. It blocks. And I'm trying to, when I feel fear, I think of my word trust. When I feel joy, I think of my word trust. When I feel courage, I think of my word trust. When I feel whatever I feel, I just think of my word trust. And you said something, not knowing why that's my word, really, not knowing what it's going to lead me to, but being open to the fact that it is going to reveal a better me after having practiced trust than before.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Weird.
Especially when you talked about and it's not just yourself, but others and the impact that has. Parenting, our relationships, leadership influence.
Girl, let's talk about parenting, because if I could have said I was a perfect kid, then parenting would be super easy, right? Because you say, I'm gonna have perfect kids because I was a perfect kid. Because I'm not a perfect kid, I know that I have to work on not giving my to them, right? So when you get all creepy crawly, when your kid says, Mom, I want to go do blah, 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 blah. Do you meet them at the place where they are? Or do you let all of those creepy crawlies from your own experience creep themselves in to stop you from allowing them to experience their full self?
You know what? It's so hard because you got to restrain yourself. It's like you got to suspend judgment. You got to suspend my past experience. I got to, enough to say, what if there's something that back to missing the learning, right? That I missed in the learning. That preclude this joker from getting.
Yes.
And especially when you think about it. So I know we started with where we find ourselves in the times we're in right now. Our times were different. Our demands, our expectations, our challenges were so different. They could become the same issue or behavior or choice that they want to make, but where the context they find themselves in now is different than ours were.
Yes.
Think about going over a friend's house, right? And how my parents were absolutely very adamant about whose house I was not going over. They had to know them first. They had to see inside the house before I could step into it.
Yes.
And
even a phone call, something.
Right. Something. We don't just do, and kids don't ask each other. Parents talk to parents, right? And I thought about now a whole bunch of things that are dynamics. One, are they even engaging like that, right? Are the houses and environments different? Diversity is a new play. Cultural conversations at home are a new play. What happens at a dining room table? Like I had to think through things like that. And the thing that really got me is one time, my son's an old soul. He said, Mommy, oh my gosh, your word. He said, you don't trust my judgment?
Wow.
So, dude, maybe I do. I don't know about your 13-year-old judgment, but I had to think about that. And I think it requires us to, back to pause, right? I think it requires us to think and put ourselves, people talk about being present, right? Being present in the moment of that encounter with your child.
Yes.
And then, yes, where we've come from, because there are things that we've learned, and we just know, no matter what the times are, we just know good wisdom.
It's not going to happen, right?
But don't miss the chance for the moment with your child. One, because I think all those moments add to their trust bank of you and your relationship, right? Ages where our kids are now, I mean, it's teenage years. I don't want him making decisions just because I said so. I want him making good judgment and decisions based on intention and rationale.
Yes.
Only do that if I offer it.
Yes.
Or just, I've been finding myself to make sure I'm more present in the moment. I'm not, coming off of a phone call. I'm not telling him, hold on, I'm on Zoom, but I can text you while I'm on. There are some moments with my kid that can't be multitasked.
Yes.
Multitask parenting.
Yes.
I'm just saying that from a place of conviction. I would do that. Hey, John, yep, I'm not presenting. Shame me. I know folks do it. Shame on me. I can text you while mommy's doing the thing because I'm not presenting now. But you can't multitask parenting.
No.
I would say invite myself, make sure I'm fully present in the moment. And as much as I can, I try to offer my kid as much as I can, intention and rationale. Because I want decision-making, not just a choice for the moment.
Yes, 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 and yes. Oh my God. Okay, so you threw in there that you were an author. I need you to talk a little bit about What is it? Taking care of business while my husband is at
Oh,
the gate. Girl,
yes.
let's
Oh,
hear about this. Busy mom and
oh my
busy worker
gosh.
and leader and all the things who slivered a book in there. So tell us about your book.
Right. So it's been a long time coming, like the old song said. But I actually the concept of the book came to me when I was single.
Mm.
So for those who know me or don't know me, I've been married 16 years. So we know it's been a minute. And you know, I'm okay with sharing that I finally got to the point. I didn't give up the race. It may have been a slow race. But finishing my book was actually my self-care gift to myself last year.
Wow.
When I thought about everything I was responsible for, you know, who would have thought that working in healthcare and doing diversity in the middle of triple pandemics was a good thing?
Wow.
And I was getting farther away from paying attention to my own mental health. And what could I do? Yeah, I could Calgon, take it away. I could take a, you know, but I could work out. But I knew I love expression of words. I'll say it that way.
Yes.
And I was really inspired because my dad used to love to write. He was writing a book and he never was going to release it, but he wrote, and he was an amazing creative writer. And I thought about him, I was looking at a picture because he's been passed now 2.5 years. And I thought, well, how would he challenge me? You know, and I was watching things my son was writing. You know, he was bringing me stuff. I'm like, John, where'd you get this from? And he was like, Mom, I wrote that. And I'm like, really? Has by my desk.
Wow.
Operation Moncar. I'm like, my kid's a writer. Wait a minute. That's in me too. Why have I blocked it? And fear was holding me back. Because a few years ago, my husband said, why did you finish your book? I said, what if no one reads it? His witty self says, well, no one's reading it now. So I thought, you know what? My self-care, I'm going to treat myself to finishing the expressions that have been in my heart for years.
Amen.
That's what led to the book. But it's based off of Proverbs 31. And years ago when I was single, I was reading about the woman because a lot of people read it. We use it for Mother's Day cards and different things. But it arrested me that in the section about the woman, he's described. I'm like, well, it's her story. And it said why he's known at the gate. And I got curious, right? Like, what is a gate and what's he do there? Sean, you're talking about timing. As I learned, so the gate was a place of prominence, of leadership, of decision making. And I was like, wow, is that the kind of man I'm married to? Well, if one day, right, had no idea who my husband was going to be.
Wow.
And as I read it, I thought to myself, well, am I taking care of the stuff I need to take care of? God convicted me that your business is about who you are, your reputation, your reactions, your resistance. And so that's what the catalyst was, and took 90 days and got through.
So there have been so many conversations around the Psalms 31 woman. Mm-hmm. And typically I've heard it referenced when folks are looking for the proof that we can do it all, or the proof that, you know, women are just, you know, we carry so many things. Right. You actually looked through it and saw something. I'm sure you saw those things, but you saw something even bigger.
I did. And talk about conviction, because in fact, one of the sections of the book, I don't want to do a spoiler, but one of the sections of the book, I actually unpacked the Proverbs 31 description of the woman and understood her for who I was. Because I feel like we read it and we're like, I can't do it. I can't wake up before dawn and sew clothes and make sure this is and go buy land. And
go to bed late. You waking up before dawn and you going to bed late.
And I'm the last one in. Sometimes I'm like, y'all, peace out. I made dinner and I'm headed up. And I felt like God really drew me in. It's like, I want you to know her for who she is in you. Because I want you to know you were fearfully and wonderfully made. She wasn't the only woman in the world who was fearfully and wonderfully made. The verse says, and does your soul know it right well? And so I unpack those verses, and I was like, when she's doing this, I'm doing it, but it looks like this. When she did that, I'm doing, and God gave me a comfort. Like, you got it, girl. You're my daughter. I'm not asking you to be anyone back to bondage, right? Sometimes we get so bound by, I've got to be like someone else. I got to look like this, have this title, or have this ascribed to me. And God said, you know, I made you for a very particular reason, with a very particular frame, with very particular gifts. If you go chase the other ones, you're going to miss all the gems I have.
Yes, girl. EJ, seriously, that right there, we got to put a double pin on that one. We spend so much time looking at ourselves in comparison to others. Yes. And the social world doesn't do anything but exacerbate the problems that we probably all have, right?
Yes.
You think you're fine and cruising along okay until you get on social and you're like, oh, wait a minute. That family pick is a little bit better than the other family pick. Oh, wait a minute.
I didn't pose right.
Doing XYZ. My kids aren't doing XYZ. Oh, wait a minute. They're right, all the things. And man, what you just said there, I think mind-blowing, right? First of all, we all, if we have not, must read this book. In fact, I'm going to put out a challenge that we all read it and we do a book club on it, because getting to the place where we can actually understand that it is the word revealed.
Yes.
It's the word revealed.
Personally for you.
And it's personal. It's personal. It's for you. We are each so different, such different tasks to be done.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's
personal. And you know, I would love that. I am so, that's such a gracious offer to use what God dropped in me to drop in others, because that's how I wrote the book. I wrote the book. It's simple. It's not to be a one and done, because I believe that we can continue to live and to grow and develop these things. But I did want it to be a catalyst for transparency and vulnerability, and a safe place where women can connect. And just, I mean, even the fact, so we had, I thought I was doing a little bit of just like a gathering with a few women. I asked 5 friends, invite 5 friends, and we'll have a little breakfast together. And it blew up because friends are like, we're supporting you, girl. We got to get this out to people. It would end up being this book launch, but I did it on Halloween intentionally to say, I want you to come where you don't have to come with masks. It's mask free.
Yes.
Capes can be placed in the dry cleaners for at least a day. Raw self, because we don't have, back to social, it really exacerbated, like you said, this that's another pandemic, right? We fall into the sickness of comparison, and we can't get well until we allow ourselves to remove ourselves from it. But I think it's conversation that I hope that this book sparks for people, that they can say, I looked at myself, since look at yourself, wow, we can do this together. And find safe places. I can't go back. My treasure box is, like, I'm looking at this and it doesn't help. I keep looking at this box and I'm thinking what you said about treasured friends. I don't, in my treasure chest, like my special gems, or whether it's joy that my husband gave me, I love that they're all so different. I don't have 2 pair of earrings that look the exact same. So why do we make ourselves to be like, we got to be like the gem that's right next to us? Be your own gem. Be your own gem. Know your stone counts, and know the fraction of how light flecks off of you versus somebody else. Like, why do that? I think as women, we have to do that more with and for each other.
I'm gonna tell you this, with and for each other, right on, because I think that becomes sometimes the issue, even when we're in a corporate setting or an academic setting, any work setting, right? Where there's this preconceived notion that there's a limited number, and how do you shine your best, but also encourage others to shine too, right? And the fact is, you just do, right? The fact is, you just do. And you realize what you just said, you are a unique gem on your own, right? So if you're pitching your business, if you're pitching yourself, if you're pitching whatever your idea is, that does not take away from the pitch that's happening before or after yours. There's an appointed time for the wave.
Right.
If we can go back to the wave conversation.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You might do all the pitching and cheerleading, the next person doing all the pitching, but it wasn't the time for your wave to roll like that.
Yep.
So you know what you do? You stand on the beach and you say, girl,
And you
you
get
catch
ready.
that wave. Catch
Right.
that wave.
Celebrate it.
Yes, because
Absolutely.
there's joy and peace that comes in that. And I think that once we get to a place where people can really understand this Psalms 31 woman and the revelation for ourselves.
Yep. Yep.
And
Absolutely.
we can understand the treasure that we are ourselves.
Yep.
We can
Absolutely.
start to come together to create an amazing box, an amazing box. Wow.
Yeah.
So Erickajoy, when you think about some of the truths that I talk about in Proven Not Perfect, I talk about inspiration, courage, confidence, fortitude, humility, drive, and optimism. Which of the 7 resonates the most for you?
I have a hard time picking. Like 2 stuck out, right?
All right, 2.
It's the balance of courage and humility.
Oh.
So here's what got me, right? Humility caught me first because I think I have to make sure I keep myself in a place, and back to being honest with what God offers, right? Not apologizing for favor or opportunities or new doors, but what do I do with them? And how do I never forget? I had a friend told me when I was getting a new promotion, girl, I'm so proud of you. You want to be a leader because I know you're a leader, but please don't forget to lead responsibly, right? And I think leadership comes with a responsibility. So I take these opportunities, I take these engagements, these open doors, this access, and I have to remain humble because I recognize that anything that's offered is for a better reason. It's not for me.
Amen.
I have a title for me. I have a title so that it can open doors so I can go make change and do more equitable things in healthcare for people, right? Board invitation is not for me. It's for me to sit into a seat to bring my perspective so things can be changed in an environment or a culture or an organization, right? My son getting access to a school that he really looks after is not just for me. It's for him to be placed in. So those things are given. So that, to me, that's what helps us with the humility piece. Not you work away from it or hide the things that God has blessed you with and God wants to leverage and drive you for. But the courage to not stay content.
Oh,
there have been some places where I was like, I'm good. I got a board. I got a promotion. I'm good. But I know that those goods could just be comfort zones.
Yes.
Challenge me. So just because I have received doesn't mean that God has more for me, but that more could come with different responsibility, stretching myself. I often tell my girls, sometimes it's like walking in heels that like a few inches higher. You're going to be unstable at first, but you got to learn how to walk in them, right?
Yes.
Courage to be open enough to say, okay, I can go for more. I don't want to become complacent. I don't want to get comfortable, but I want to be courageous. And then the other thing that sticks out for me is, and from a courage standpoint, is doing the things that even if others aren't doing them. Pause. Like saying, I'm going to be courageous enough. And it sounds odd, but sometimes it takes courage to celebrate somebody.
Yes.
I remember walking, I was in the mall, and no, it's out in a shopping area. And this woman had the most beautiful, her hair was beautiful. I didn't look so hot that day, but she looked amazing. And I felt just really compelled to tell her, your hair is beautiful, her color, her cut, And then I thought, well, she's gonna think I'm crazy, or she's gonna think like, why did I stop her? I'm like, why can't I just be courageous and give that woman an accolade? She turned around and said, you know how much that means to me?
Wow.
People just don't offer that. And I don't know what that would have meant for her for the rest of the day, but there's small things like that to me, courage is getting outside of yourself.
Yes.
Comfort is getting outside of what you think others are going to say and just being bold and different. And that's who we were made to be.
Be bold and be different. That's who we were made to be. Erickajoy, this is wonderful to have this time with you. Wonderful to share this time, our conversation with others. If you know, like I know, you're probably gonna have to listen to this twice,
Right.
because usually when we talk, she's not kidding. We have to get out the notebooks, we have to write, and it takes some unpacking to clear through all the things that were just dropped. So if you have a sense that they went places that I feel like I need to unpack, that's normal.
That's us. That's us. That's our journey.
That is our journey. I encourage you to do so, because if you do, I'm sure that you will reap so much reward from it. So tell us the name of the ministry that you and your husband preside over together in the Midwest.
Yes, it's Old Mount Zion Church. It's on the east side in Milwaukee. We affectionately call ourselves OMZ. We're Zion Strong. We've gotten down to just who we are supposed to be. Excited. It's a training church. We have a lot of members that we just feel equipped and responsible to train and develop. So it's us, our heart is around developing, very big on couples and young emerging talent.
Wow. Well, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your selflessness. Thank you for bringing your words to life this last year. I know that it's a blessing. I know that it will bless. I personally want to do a book club. So we got to put that on the list for February, okay? This will air in January at some point. So I just want to say so much love and respect for you. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. I do too. And thanks for space in your treasure box. That means a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.